So I'll be the first to admit that when these guys right here, the Sculk Sensors, were first announced in Minecon Live 2020, I was less than convinced as a technical player. I thought that they'd be far too niche for any of us to have any sort of requirement for them in our builds. However, after seeing them get more functionality in the release of 1.19, I will be the first to admit that I was wrong. These things are insanely powerful. Now, before you swarm into the comments section saying, what are you talking about? Clearly, Sculk Sensors aren't as useful as you're hyping them up to be. Well, stick around. I got a lot to explain. So, Sculk Sensors themselves actually have a couple of different functionalities. The first one is being able to measure distance. So if I stand right here on the corner of this little platform I've set up and I make a little vibration, then you'll see that not only will we get a redstone output, which we've known about right from the beginning, but also we will get a particular signal strength through this redstone dust. So you can see that we get a signal strength of 8, but if I go right up against it like this and create a vibration, we get a signal strength of 14. So the signal strength is higher the closer I am to the sensor, which is really, really useful. But it gets even more interesting when we go into the art of vibration frequencies, also known as vibration amplitudes. So you'll notice when I was doing that little demonstration there, the dust that I was looking at was coming directly out from the Sculk sensor like this. However, if you take a comparator output from the Sculk sensor, then it does something a little bit different, which is actually being able to measure exactly what action you're performing. If I just okay, wait for that to cool down a bit. If I just walk around, then you'll see we get a signal strength of 1. If I eat some food like this, we get a signal strength of 8. And if I, for example, fall onto the platform, we get a signal strength of 5. So you can see it is based on what I am doing. So this really intrigued me because I thought, well, what if we hook up little systems to both the vibration amplitude and the distance sensor to little signal strength decoders that give an output when the signal strength coming into the back of it is a certain value. Then we can end up, I guess, detecting for super specific instances of vibrations, which is what I've done over here. So as you can see, this yellow circuit right here just detects for when I eat some food, and this blue circuit detects for when I am standing on this green glass right here. However, there is another element to this circuit which is a bit of an elephant in the room, to be quite honest with you, and that's this Sculk Shrieker right here. You might be like, why is it a Sculk Shrieker? Clearly that doesn't have any redstone purpose. When I was working around this system, I quickly realised that it wasn't going to be as useful as I was first imagining it to be, purely because there's no real way of distinguishing between what vibrations are caused by players and what vibrations are caused by entities and other mobs. That was until I saw this thumbnail from Ilmango, which made me kind of have a bit of a eureka moment. I was like, yes, that's exactly what I need, because Sculk Shriekers will only activate when a nearby Sculk sensor passes on a vibration, and it will only do so when that vibration is deemed to be caused by a player. As you'll be able to see, if I just grab a Sculk sensor like this, and I walk around like so, then you'll be able to see that it screams, just like that. And it also emits an observer output because it tries to summon the warden. Now, this is something quite interesting because this Sculk Shrieker is actually incapable of summoning the warden. It's been placed down by me, the player. You can see it's quite a sort of gloomy inside texture. But it will still try to summon the warden, and when it does so, it will emit an observer output. I spoke a little bit about that in my last video, so make sure to go and check that out if you're interested in Sculk Shrieker mechanics. But yeah, you can see the Sculk Shrieker activates when I walk around near the Sculk sensor, but if I place a cow nearby, for example, so this activates because it detected me placing down the cow, but when the cow walks around, which it will do eventually, hopefully, probably, why is it not walking around? There we go, so you can see that the cow is activating the Sculk sensor, but it's not transmitting the signal over to the Sculk Shrieker, which means we can now hook all of what we just learned up to a bunch of AND gates and detect when a player performs a certain action. If I walk around on this red glass right here, which is outside of this green circle, you can see that nothing happens because I'm out of the range of the Sculk sensor. If I go inside this green circle and I walk around, then it will shriek and it will do its whole thing, but we won't get an output through the lamp because what I need to be doing is standing on this green glass and eating at the same time. And then what you'll see is we will get a lamp output. So very quickly I'll just run you through how these signal strength systems work in case you want to build this system in your own worlds. It detects for a signal strength coming from this Sculk sensor, whether that be from the distance, which is down here with the blue circuit, or the vibration frequency, which is this yellow circuit here. In my case, I'm eating food, which is a signal strength of 8, so it's going to attempt to output a signal strength of 8. However, the curveball is this barrel right here. Actually, it's not a curveball, I made it do this. So, in this barrel is a signal strength that corresponds to 1 fewer than the one we want to detect. So, in here is a signal strength of 7. So you can see in my little guide here, coming soon to my personal resource pack, by the way, if you just go down the side here, you can see signal strength of 7, it's 11 full slots and 37 items, and that is exactly what we've got in this barrel right here. So it just subtracts 1 fewer than the signal strength we want, which means if the signal strength is less than what we want, it's going to output a signal strength of 0, or basically the redstone dust won't have an output in it at all. If it is the same as or over the value we want, then it will give an output. And this is where it gets interesting, because in order to cancel out any values that are over the signal strength we want, that's what this little L-shaped bit does on the side here. So at the moment, 8 minus 7 is going to be 1, which means it's going to output a signal through this redstone dust, which is not strong enough to go over here, which means this comparator is able to take the signal going into this target block here and output it out the front like that. However, if the value is over, then it will activate this, which subtracts any value going into the back of this comparator and basically turns it off no matter what is going into the back. And in order to make sure that the vibration frequency and the distance happen at the same time, we've just got this AND gate here, which looks like a bit of a strange AND gate, but that's only because we've got the hopper timer just here. This hopper timer has 4 items in it. The first 3 are stackable and the last one is non-stackable, which means it's going to take quite a long time for all of this to turn off and turn back on again, which is going to help us sync the signal up with the Sculk Shrieker. So, so there you go. That was quite a long-winded explanation, but regardless, I really hope you found this interesting. I hope you can expand on this concept and it's made you a bit more open-minded about the potential that these Sculk sensor blocks have, because yeah, well, like I say right at the very beginning, I was less than convinced to start with, but now I really think that there could be multiple different uses for them beside things like, I don't know, redstone clocks or basic stuff like that, which we've been able to do forever. Okay, thanks for watching. I really hope you found this interesting, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.